Alrighty, we got Dragon's Dogma 2 from a Monster Hunter perspective. Oh, baby.
Hello everyone, my name is Peppo and I'm a Monster Hunter player. I
Mm-hmm.
recently played Dragon's Dogma 2, the new action RPG for single player developed and published by Capcom, the same company of the Monster Hunter series. It is the sequel of Dragon's Dogma, which was released 12 years ago, in
Nice.
2012,
Yep.
and it's available for new-gen consoles and PC. Before starting, I have to say I never played the first title, so I knew nothing about the series. Everything
Oh, yeah, same for me, dude. For me, Dragon's Dogma 2 was my first time playing the Dragon's Dogma brand. So I didn't play the first one, but then, I see the trailers and yeah, the combat seems very similar to Monster Hunter, and I like Monster Hunter, so I think I would like this.
was completely new for me, including the story, the setting, and of course the gameplay, so I didn't really know what to expect. To give you a rough idea about what this game is about, put it simply, you take on the role of a character called the Arisen, who is basically the hero of the story. You have to complete quests, fight enemies, and explore this open world map. Pretty simple and straightforward, right?
Open world. I'll get into that later, but it's not as open as you think.
Well, not exactly. I actually struggled quite a bit at the beginning. The game does look simple, but it's definitely not, at least not when you played the first 20 hours. Like Monster Hunter, there are some aspects of Dragon's Dogma 2 that the game doesn't fully explain, but
Yeah.
you get to know little by little. Probably if you have played the first title, it should be easier to understand specific mechanics,
Yeah.
but that wasn't the case for me, as I said.
I think it's a trait of a good game, even if it is like another installment, like a 2, 3, or 4 or something like that. I think it's a good trait to have like some sort of decent tutorial portion of the game or something like that, so that you don't have to go back and play the other games to understand the mechanics. I don't know. I just think that if you want to have a good game, have like some sort of little tutorial thing in the beginning. And I think it does like a basic job of telling you like how to do like combat and whatnot. But there are a lot of other like nuanced things in the game that it doesn't the game just doesn't tell you about.
I started this new adventure completely blind. The first shock I had was the quest system. There is no quest counter or handler who gives you the quest, but you accept them by talking to the NPCs scattered in different villages and towns. There are main quests, which are necessary for progressing to the story,
Yeah.
and side quests which can be completely ignored if you want, but they give
Yeah. It's not like World of Warcraft where there's just random people with like a exclamation above their head or whatever, just walking around and shit. I mean, because that falls in line of the argument of, is it immersion breaking, or does it enhance the game to include or exclude certain I don't know, like HUD elements such as NPCs that have main quest or side quest things going on. One of the things that Monster Hunter, and I would imagine Dragon's Dogma 1 has going for it, is the core game loop and just overall like the vibe, the world that both the brands are in is you have it's not like Skyrim or whatever where there's like HUD elements everywhere. There's or World of Warcraft where they're like very handholdy in the game. Uh, I mean, yes, you do have like the little control scheme button layout tooltips down here to tell you like what moves do what and whatever. And then you saw before you have like a mini map down here in the corner. But pretty much the world is, you're not gonna get like a lot of game elements in the world. Like you don't have like a compass up here. You can turn your health and stam bar off. I mean, by default, it like whenever you engage in combat, it fades on and stays on during combat. Or you can just turn it on to be on all the time. But if you go out of combat, it fades off to give you a more immersive experience in the game. So it's entrenched in like reality, like real life. You don't have people like walking around with like a, what do you call it, like things hovering above over their head stating that like, oh, there's a main quest, come here, or whatever. As far as like the quest log, there is a quest log, and if you open up like the big map, there is like a quest list, but, and you know, if you like scroll down to the quest, it'll tell you like the general direction of like, hey, go here. I think that's fine. I don't think that is too much of an issue. I mean, if there was a side quest, I would like to know that there's a side quest that like I'm near or whatever, but I wish the game did a better job of telling me that like, hey, there's a side quest over here, come do it if you want. But as far as I remember, there's you essentially have to just walk around and talk to like every NPC more or less. I mean, sometimes you'll like you have to have like what do you call it, the subtitles turned on, and sometimes a sentence will pop up and it'll be like, "Hey, it'll be like, did you hear about the boy that got taken by the wolves or whatever?" So that signals in my like gamer brain to be like, "Oh, somebody's talking about a thing that I can do. Let me go do that." But that's if you have that stuff like on by default, and I think the game does that, have that option on by default. You'd have to go out of your way to like turn that shit off or whatever. So I'm kind of like mixed on like the whole quest, side quest, main quest thing.
Give you gold and
I wouldn't say that that's the main issue for me for like the quest system. I think for me with the quest system, it's once you reach the point of no return, which the game doesn't even tell you. I mean, when you give like all the, what was it, like the worm life crystals to like the dude or whatever, like the 15 worm life crystals, once you do that point, certain side quests just get turned off and you can't go back and do them. I think that's really stupid. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just going off on a rant already, and it's like a minute 30 in the video. Let me keep listing.
Experience points, and few of them even some interesting rewards.
Yeah.
However,
this game is all about like the unique rewards. Nobody really cares about the like your level XP, your XP to the next level, or like sometimes you need gold to like get shit done in the game, which is fine, or if you want to go out and like gain XP, you just go out and kill a bunch of monsters, whatever. But it's really, players are looking for like the unique rewards. And sometimes when you just go around doing random ass things in the game, sometimes certain side quests will be like, oh, you can't do this anymore because you didn't do this other quest. And like certain quests are linked to each other, and it's like if you got this far but you didn't do this one, you can't progress, and the game doesn't tell you that you have to do that one. So it's like it's a big fucking clusterfuck.
The great majority of side quests are skippable. Most of them only give you money and the XP, so you're not missing much. Many of these quests just consist of investigating a certain matter, collecting items, and reporting back. There is no fighting. It's more for completionists or people who are really into the story of the game.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, it would have been more engaging if you got some unique rewards for this type of quest.
The whole thing with that is if you put like unique things in the side quest, players will feel, I don't know if players will feel, I would feel obligated to go out and do all the side quests, because me myself, I'm like just naturally like a kind of completionist or whatever. Like the moment I get to like a point in the beginning of the game, it's like, okay, you're in the big city, do this next main quest thing. I'm like, fuck that, let me go out and explore and do all the side quests. Let me get in or do all the dungeons and shit like that. That's what I like doing. And I'm just naturally like that, but the game doesn't really incentivize you to go out and explore.
While giving you just gold and EXP doesn't make this quest worth completing, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Another
I'd
issue
agree.
I personally have with side quests is that after you reach a certain point in the story, some side quests can't be completed anymore.
Yeah, that's bullshit and that's stupid. So the reason why that's stupid is because it falls along the same argument as, like back in the day, you would have games that there would be, like, let's say there's a beginning and end of the game. Here, let me whip out the old paint. Oh, flashbang. Bang. So, like, if this is the beginning of a game, that's the end of the game, and then, whee, there's the line. Sometimes a certain game, well, no, yellow. Now, this next one will be blue. There would be a good playthrough, and it would be like this. You're still reaching the end of the game, and then there would be a bad guy playthrough, and this is the end of the game. So when games, back in the day when games had this option, son of a bitch, why are you changing on me? Whatever. Whenever you do, like, there was like a study done, like, early game developers, like, whenever they made a game where you had like multiple endpoints of the game, and there was like a good guy playthrough and a bad guy playthrough, what they discovered was like 70 to 80% of players did, well, like, most players will do only one playthrough of the game, and you have a choice. You can either do neutral, good, or bad. Naturally, if most gamers knew there was a good or bad side, they would probably skew to one or the other. But what they discovered was, what the fuck? Is that my mouse? Okay. Okay. What they discovered was that 70 to 80% of the players did the good playthrough. And if that's their one interpretation of the game, you're missing a bunch of content that's, that the developer made to be like on the custom side of like the bad guy playthrough. So if most players will only play the game once, most likely they will do the good guy playthrough. And since they discovered that, developers would put a lot of time and effort into like the good guy playthrough, because there's more benefits and power to gain when you do the good guy playthrough. There wasn't as much, they wouldn't put as much effort into like the bad guy playthrough. However, there are tons of side quests and power gains to be had if you did the bad guy playthrough. The reason why that applies to Dragon's Dogma 2 is because once you reach a point of no return, or not even the point of no return, there's just certain times where you will reach a point or you do a side quest and you miss doing a different side quest. It feels like you're missing out on content. And for like a lot of the completionists that play the game, or you don't even have to be a completionist, you just like going out and doing side shit, and then once you feel like you're good, you just go back doing the main quest or whatever. It really sucks because it feels like you're, like I said before, you're just missing content. So it's like everybody paid what, $70+ for the game or whatever, and it really sucks when you pay $70 for a game that you only want to do once, like one playthrough. I mean, if you're like really like the game, you do another playthrough or whatever, and it just feels like you're getting cheaped out because you didn't look at the videos, you didn't look at all the content creator shit or whatever. Like, it just feels bad. And I think that's really stupid for a lot of like RPG games to have stupid points of no return, to where, okay, you reach this point and all these side quests that you didn't do or you didn't even know about just get shut off. It's like, why? That's stupid. Or if you do this side quest, you can't do this side quest. I think that's ridiculous. But whatever. Let's keep watching.
And combining that with the single save slot, it makes it a bit annoying.
The single save slot. Yeah, that shit is actually annoying. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, I got it. Okay, once more with feeling.
In fact, you cannot start another game with another character,
Yeah.
but you are forced to delete all your progression and overwrite a new character if you want to start over. I believe they should have let you have multiple save slots instead.
Yeah.
Another important difference.
Yeah, like, what are we doing as a game developer? Like, in Monster Hunter World and what do you call it? And Rise, you had 3 save slots. Why are we regressing in terms of like a game development system? The game is obviously based on like using the a lot of things that are similar to Monster Hunter. Why are we only using 1 save slot? Monster Hunter World has 3. Rise has 3 save slots. Why did we take those away? For what? DLC? That's actually ridiculous.
With Monster Hunter and what makes the gameplay unique are the pawns. AI-controlled characters who assist the Arisen during fights,
Yeah.
but can also help while exploring and with quest objectives.
I think that well, no. I was gonna say they were testing out the increased AI levels with pawns, so that you could possibly shoehorn in pawns for when Monster Hunter Wilds comes out. That's what I was gonna say, but then I had to think about it again. It was like, no, they probably wouldn't do that. But they kind of did that with Monster Hunter Rise, with the cat buddies and the dogs. You know, you could be a solo player and you have like 2 cats and 2 dogs at your side. So it's kind of like that, but not really.
You can have up to 3 pawns, with the first one being your main paw, that is created by you, and the other 2 pawns are main pawns of other players, which means you cannot customize them. Pawns reminded me of the followers from the Monster.
Yeah, you can kind of customize them, but not really. Like there's the pawn advanced search or whatever, and you can search by vocation. You can search by like level range. What else? You can search by what were those things, like those personalities with the 4 little personality traits, like defensive, offensive, supportive, and like I don't know what the other one was. You could search by those things, and then you could search by move, but you could only add like 1 move, which I think is really stupid, because it's like, why not just let me plug in like the 4 moves that I want and then just pop out like all the pawns or whatever. Like, you're gonna give me all this customization, but you're only gonna give me like a slightly nerfed version to like, you're not gonna like give me like the full customization package of like what I'm trying to look for. Like, why not just allow me to look for all 4 moves? No, you can only choose like 1 move. Okay, whatever.
Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, although they are an improved version of that. Other than supporting and fighting alongside the Arisen, they can gather materials, give you hints about quest objectives, help you during the exploration, and even combine items in your pouch.
Yeah, I actually like the pawn system. I mean, because I didn't play Dragon's Dogma 1 or anything like that, but it's just cool because it felt like like Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. You know, you're just out there, out and about, it's you and the boys, shooting shit, slashing shit, and everything. I think the pawn system was, overall, it was really good.
They are well implemented in both the story and the gameplay.
However, that is not without reproach, in that sometimes the pawns would be really stupid, and the pawn AI would just get really dumb when it comes to like jumping off cliffs or very high ledges for seemingly no reason.
However, sometimes the AI doesn't work that great.
Yeah.
They can get stuck without knowing how to free themselves in a specific circumstance. Sometimes they don't follow the Arisen's indications, for example while exploring a certain place, and they tend to say always the same thing over and over, which makes them boring after a while.
Yes, but luckily, the developers gave the player enough tools to remedy the situation that the developer created in the first place. Why do I, as a player, need to cover for the developer's bad pawn AI? by letting me like grab them and throw them and whatnot. Whenever I was playing the game, never did I ever think, oh, I need to pick up my pawn and grab and throw them. I think that happened like once in the early game. And after that, I don't think I did it once. If a pawn was stuck right here, I would have just kept running because, you know, they'll just port to you or whatever. Or if, what was it? If they don't port to you, you just go back to town and grab another one. Fuck it.
We're in your hands, sir. Much obliged.
What makes this game quite different from Monster Hunter is definitely the exploration. You are free to roam around in this immense open world map, which is divided into two big kingdoms, Vermund and Batal. In the former there are many woods and forests, while the latter gives you the vibes from the Grand Canyon. Both areas overlook the sea that surrounds the map.
Yeah, like the art and the environment in the game, I think is awesome. It's fantastic.
What's more, the whole map is full of dark caverns, also known as dungeons, which makes the exploration more captivating and interesting.
Oh yeah, and you know, like it's like you figure it's a dungeon or a cave or whatever. It's really dark. Oh, they gave you a little lantern to like light the way. That's fine.
Interesting. Concerning the gathering aspect of the game, it is really similar to Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
You can mine ores, gather herbs and other fruits, and also pick up monster materials from bone piles. The only
yeah, I thought this was really kind of funny being a Monster Hunter player, and it's like, oh wow, you can mine ores, herbs, and bones just like you can in Monster Hunter. How funny! And it's fun, even funnier because it's the crafting system is about the same in terms of you know, what was it, like a mega potion in the game is, or what is it, or like not the mega potion, but like the salubrious drought is like a regular potion in Monster Hunter, or the roborints are like the mega pots from Monster Hunter World or whatever. I just thought it was very funny. I mean, initially I was talking to my buddy and I was like, it's lazy, but it's also familiar, you know, being that I played Monster Hunter first. And it's like, oh, okay, I know this crafting system. This is easy. And they just changed the pictures. Okay, that's fine.
The only big difference are chest boxes. These are scattering on the map.
Yeah.
And inside them you can find pretty much all kinds of items, including gold, armor and weapons. On top of that, the map is full of hidden tokens, known as Seeker's tokens.
I think this was completely stupid. I hate collecting shit in the game, like the feathers in Assassin's Creed, or just 100 whatevers of anything. Yes, it kind of makes you... It incentivizes the player to go out and explore, but I don't know. It's just like a whatever thing. Like, how do you incentivize the player to explore every nook and cranny of the map? Oh, well, let's just add like this random currency that you can turn in and you can get rewards for. I don't know. I just hate collecting like random shit, like 100+ things in like the game. I think it's lazy.
Which remind of the relic records from Monster Hunter Rise, but most of them are incredibly hard to spot, and there are 240 of these.
Oh yeah, I forgot. There's 240.
Gathering them can have its value as it unlocks some item, armor and weapon. However, once you reach the endgame, most of these stuff are not that special anymore.
Oh, see, what did I get? I think I didn't even get up to the Ring of Triumph. I only got up to like the Ring of Vehemence, or whatever. And after that, I was just like, fuck this. This is dumb. Who cares about this shit? It would be a little different if, because, well, here's the thing. If you make the shit on this little menu like super powerful, players will feel obligated to go do it. And what do you think is more likely the case? This is reality. Would you say that most players would just go around the map and try to explore in an organic, natural, fun way? To some degree, yes. But for the completionists of the player base, which is going to be some percent, what would they more likely do? Explore naturally or simply look up a guide? Anytime you're like looking up a guide to like where all these little secret tokens are, it's like, it ruins the fun for me. It really does. I don't want to be looking at it stopping a video to like look up where like secret token 136 is so I can get the eternal bond ring. I think that's really stupid.
I collected 220.
But also, understandably, I think there's an item in the game. It's like a little thing you carry or whatever. It's like a box, and it's like, oh, it'll tell you where secret tokens are whenever you get near one or whatever. I never used it because I didn't really care about collecting these things. I was like, whatever.
Of them, and I regret it now. That wasn't worth the trouble. And that's something related more generally to the whole exploration of this game. Scouting every corner of the map is most of the time not worth it, unfortunately.
Oh.
Almost every time you just get common items from both gathering spots and treasure chests.
Yeah.
Even if you get some armor or weapon, they are 99% weaker than what you can buy at the armor and weapon shop.
True.
In a few words, the exploration doesn't feel very rewarding. At least not as much as I'd like it to be, considering it's one of the most important aspects of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's both a good and a bad thing. Like, the fact that a player doesn't feel obligated to go out and explore is, I think, fine. But, so what's the opposite of that? The opposite is that there's a lot of powerful shit out there, and if you want to go explore for it, great. That's fine and fantastic. But the moment you incentivize, like, exploration, I think players, again, will feel obligated to go out and try to like find like the best things at the detriment of going out and doing it in a more natural, like organic way. You're no longer just going out there and like looking around for like whatever. You're just like hunting versus like exploring or whatever. It's hard to explain.
Let's talk now about the weapons and gear. In Dragon's Dogma 2, there are unique classes called vocations, and each vocation has 9 levels. The higher the level, the more weapon skills and augments you will unlock.
Oh dang.
Weapon skills are unique to each vocation, except Warfare, which can use all the skills, but not the Maester skills, which are unlocked via certain side quests and are by far stronger than the regular weapon skills.
Nice.
The vocation is also directly linked to the weapon type, which means, for example, if you choose the Thief vocation, you will fight using daggers, something similar to the dual blades of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
An exception is the Warfarer vocation, that can use all the weapons and armor from all the other vocations. The armor is divided into 3 pieces: the helm, the legs, and the piece that covers the chest and arms. Some armor can be equipped by different vocations, while others are just unique to a specific one. On top of that, there is a slot for the mantle, and more importantly, 2 slots for the rings, which give you valuable skills.
I think the weapon and armor system is completely fine. It's fine. Like, the reason I like the weapon and armor system is like, it's kind of similar with how I like the core combat loop and like just the leveling up system. Whenever you level up in this game, you don't have to worry about allocating the correct amount of numbers to the correct stat or whatever. It levels you up. And when you go to switch vocations, you still retain your level and the power from the level. And you can still do like a decent amount of damage, even with like vocation like level 1 or whatever. So I do like those aspects about the game. I actually would say that I prefer to level up. Like, I really like the level up system in Dragon's Dogma. And I don't know, it simplifies everything as opposed to something a little more complex like a Souls-like game or whatever, where you have to have like certain stats to, put something on or equip something.
The armor, weapons, mantles, and rings can be purchased using only gold, but you need monsters' materials to upgrade them. I took my time and leveled up all 10 vocations, testing all the weapons to get a rough idea about them.
Nice.
But primarily to unlock all the augments for each vocation. And in fact, what I really liked about the vocation system are these augments that can be equipped on any vocation you choose.
Oh yeah, you're essentially... the game incentivizes you to like unlock all these like little passives, like the augments, by playing all of the vocations, and I think that's fine and dandy, because the little passives are like small little additions that you can just add to your character. They're kind of significant, but they're not incredibly significant.
Once unlocked, you can use that augment for any vocation, giving you some freedom and customization depending
Yeah.
on your fighting style.
Yeah, and these are not like a necessity. You can literally one trick a vocation throughout the like a single playthrough without having to touch like any other vocation. If you just want to play Thief for like from the beginning to the end of the game, you can do that and there will be like no downsides. The only downsides are you miss like these little augments and they're not like as crazy as you think.
Augments are basically the skills from Monster Hunter, but instead of getting them through the armor
Yeah.
pieces, you just choose which one to use for a max of 6 skills.
Yeah, it's so funny with how these like little passives work because I can think of the exact. A lot of times, whenever an augment would say like it does a thing, I would immediately correlate it to like some skill in Monster Hunter, which is hilarious.
Based on my 200 hours of playtime, I consider the Thief and the Magic Archer the strongest vocation at the time of making this video.
Nice.
The daggers feel really satisfying and, using the proper skills, they can become extremely powerful, especially against large monsters, the so-called bosses. What's more, the Maester skill for the Thief vocation makes you completely invincible, which is just broken in my opinion. The Magic Bow, on the other hand, is extremely comfy and simple to use. It's by far the best weapon to slay minions, which are really frequent to encounter, and it has an insanely high damage output even on bosses. If the story and the exploration are important aspects of this game, the same applies to the fighting. As a Monster Hunter player, I had high expectations regarding the combat system. I have to say, clinging on monsters is a cool feature that reminded me of the Clutch Glow, but better since there is no tenderizing mechanic.
True. I really like the core game loop of Dragon's Dogma. I think is really good, and it like the entirety of all the vocations is literally just ripped. Well, not ripped, but like it's very similar to like the Monster Hunter weapons and everything like that. Like Thief is dual blade. What else? The fucking what was it? The Warrior is great sword. The Archer and Magic Archer are like about the same, but they're kind of different. It's, you know, same thing as Bow and Monster Hunter. And then you have like the Sorcerer and the Mage, which are essentially like the bow guns of the class. What was that? The augural flare is like sticky ammo essentially. I was like, okay, this is funny. Like the Warrior has like a shoulder tackle, which is the same thing in Monster Hunter World. Yeah, there's a lot of similar moves, or you know, if they did like a little motion capture thing or like some animation to be like upgrade the move in terms of like visual clarity or whatever, that's fine and dandy. I don't care. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were like testing any of these moves for Monster Hunter Wilds to see like what the player feedback was. Like, yeah, I think the core game loop is awesome for this. But one thing that I was kind of disappointed on is like the enemy variety wasn't that great. Just simply the enemy variety was not popping for me. It's like, why would the team that made Monster Hunter go and make Dragon's Dogma 2 and not have a bunch of fucking different enemies? Even if they're like little tiny versions of like monsters from like Monster Hunter. Like, you know, take the same skeleton, like wireframe, and just stick a different animal on it. Something like kind of similar. Yeah, it was just like really awkward, like in terms of like enemy variety, because I could essentially like write down all the enemies like right here. Like there was goblins, there were orcs, there were humans, there were like the lizard people. What else? Those were like all like the normal enemies, and then you have like a couple flying enemies like harpies, and then but weren't there was like some like weird bird things, weird bird guys. What else? And those were like all the oh, and there were the wolves. Everybody remembers the wolves. Everybody remembers getting bit and drug off by a random ass wolf. Oh, there were also, what was it? There were like the zombie skeletons that you only really encountered these things at night or whatever. And then as far as like big guys, it was like, what did you have? You had like this big hairy thing. What is this? I forgot. I forgot what the name of this thing was. Was this you had the Cyclops. You had this big hairy monkey thing. It wasn't a monkey. Big hairy troll. Was it a troll? You had griffins. What else? You had dragons. Dragon's Dogma. And then, I don't know, wyverns. Like, what else? There was like this weird, in the middle, like, dog pig thing. It was like a bigger than, it wasn't as big as these enemies, but it was smaller than these enemies, but bigger than these enemies. It was like a weird, like, boar thing. Yeah. I mean, and then just rinse and repeat all these different types of enemies throughout the entirety of the game. Like, I can literally just name them all. Like, it was going in, it's going in like a good direction, but I just need more. Again, not bad, but like, it was just like, oh, I'm going out. I'm probably gonna fight some goblins, some orcs, some humans, some random wolves, and the weird bird guys or some harpies. Like, this is like the majority of enemies you fight in the game, and randomly there would be like a big guy or something. So I don't know. It got kind of repetitive for me.
Instead, you can stab and throw the weapon while clinging, and this makes the fight quite distinctive. Of course, you need to be careful while grabbing onto the monster as it can dismantle you, but it's definitely not too risky, and generally you have plenty of time to attack while clinging. What's more, pawns can be quite helpful during the fight. A mage is essential, as he can heal and give support to the rest of the party, while the other two pawns can be pretty much whatever you want. I personally like having two thieves, but also sorcerers are quite strong. However, other than what I just mentioned, I wasn't too much impressed with the gameplay, to be honest.
Oh look, it's the orcs. Surprise!
After I played a while, I got the feeling the fight was a bit repetitive and simple. Weapon attacks feel too basic. You only have a light and a heavy attack. Thankfully, the weapon skills help a lot in this regard.
Oh look, it's a Cyclops.
Expanding the moveset and making the weapon feel more unique and engaging. But I have to say I expected a larger variety of weapon combos without relying solely on the weapon skills. My Monster Hunter experience definitely made me have.
I mean, if Monster Hunter is about weapon combos, this game is just about weapon skills, and it's like you only have like 4 weapon skills, and that's it. Like a light attack, a heavy attack, and then your 4 weapon skills. That's it. Like there's no. This game is not the combo game. If you want the combo game, you have to go play Monster Hunter. For this game to try to do combos, like it would only like add more stress onto the what do you call it? Like the stamina bar.
High expectations, maybe too much. Concerning the enemies, the map is full of minions, and they can get quite aggressive if you are not careful.
Oh yeah.
I know it may sound weird, but I actually have a harder time dealing with some minions than fighting bosses.
Really? Bro, I played Thief for like half the game. Playing Thief is so easy against all these dudes. You literally just equip Smoke Bomb, and it solves all your problems. It's so easy.
They can easily combo you without giving you the opportunity to strike back. When that happens, it's really frustrating, I have to admit. On the other hand, I find bosses less troublesome to deal with. Mainly because their attacks are relatively easy to read and they don't have many attacks and combos.
Bosses, well not bosses, but like big guy enemies, they were slightly on the slow side. But I mean, you know, if you want to appeal to like the least common denominator and have the game be like okay, I mean, you kind of have to do that. But like, I think I would have appreciated if the bosses had a little more, where like if their moves were like slightly sped up. Well, the reason you can't have like fast moving bosses in this game is because there's no dedicated like dodge button, like you do have in Monster Hunter. The only person that has a dodge is the thief. That's it. Like if you had a dedicated dodge button, well then yeah, you can speed up the bosses a little bit. So yeah.
That's why the fights with bosses are not very exciting in my opinion.
Yeah.
They tend to strike with the same attacks, resulting in a lack of complexity.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have a more challenging and engaging fight with bosses. Additionally, large enemies are not that frequent to spot.
Yeah, and this fucking guy is so annoying. Like, you can only hit him in like the little blue points or whatever whenever they're exposed. So like, let's say you take out this blue point, the one over there or whatever, and then maybe you have like an upwards attack that like what is there? There's like one on this arm or like the other arm. You take out those bottom three ones, and then sometimes he just like won't even move, and it's so annoying. Like, ugh, this boss was like so dumb.
Especially certain bosses. This makes the farming slow, and even annoying as you waste quite some time just to find and reach the monster you need.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that quests can only be completed once, and bosses don't spawn frequently.
Yeah.
Increasing the spawn rate would definitely help. Hopefully Capcom will consider doing that in the next updates. The only available way to accelerate the spawn of bosses is to skip in-game time by sitting down at benches and using those.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on the day and night cycle. I think this is so bad. Like, anytime you wanted to like do anything, you need to like just wait. Like, what are you doing? Oh, you just completed a quest and you're waiting for the reward? Come back in a day or 2 or 3 days. Oh, you want to progress a quest in some way, shape, or form? Go sleep. Okay, I'm willing to do all that. Can I just hit start and go to sleep, or hit start and just stand in place and wait? No, you have to find a bench. That's stupid. That's so dumb. If you want me to like wait to progress the quest, that's fine. Let me do it immediately. I mean, I understand why they did it, because it makes sense to like thematically, it makes sense to like sit on a bench and just doze off, or go to your house, or go to an inn and go to sleep for a couple nights. It makes sense because you can think about doing that in reality. But I think you could have just gamified this situation and just make it so that what do you call it? Like, you just hit start and it's like just rest. Like a clock pops up and it's like, how long do you want to wait? This time? Okay. Okay, you've waited. You're good.
Off function. Every 4 times you do that, 1 day passes. Alternatively, you can rest in inns in towns or in your tent at the campfire to skip 1 day or less, depending if you choose to sleep until night or morning. And this feature of the day-night shift is another great addition the way I see it. During the day,
yeah, I like the addition of the day and night cycle is, I think it's fine. And like when you go, like, honestly, in my opinion, whenever it's night in the game, like the night cycle is just designed to drain your resources, because you have all those like zombie skeleton things just coming out of the ground, and you got like the summoner skeleton summoning more skeletons to like rip your shit off. And it's just like, I don't think, unless the game told me to, I don't think I ever played the game like at night. I always waited till morning, because you can see where you're going in the distance. Essentially, it's just easier to see. The game's more enjoyable when you can see everything. The game is not so enjoyable to me. Maybe to some other people, you know, different opinion. Maybe to like some other people, like they like playing at night exclusively because there's like more zombies and like skeletons to like fight and like accumulate XP quicker. I mean, that's fine. It's whatever. But like, I never fight it at night.
everything is bright and certain monsters spawn, During the night everything is dark and you can't see much in the distance,
Yeah.
and other types of monsters will spawn, like zombies, skeletons and ghosts.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you forget your lantern oil at night, you are going to see almost nothing, and even with the lantern, you are not going to be at ease roaming around with a feeble light.
Yeah.
When you are playing an open world game, everybody knows that fast travel must be a critical mechanic.
Oh,
It
God.
would be
Is this a whole section on fast travel? Okay. Bro, the fast travel in this game is so dog shit. It's so dumb. Fuck this version of fast travel in the game. It's so dumb.
impossible to go from one side of the map to another by just running all the way along.
This game, when you're not fighting, is literally just walking simulator. It's so annoying. It disincentivizes you from going out exploring because of this feature. When you want to go, like, when I'm trying to explore like an open world map, I am more likely to go explore something when I can go like forge my own path and just fast travel back to the point, like a city, because I don't want to have to walk back. I just don't want to. I've already done it. Why are you making me do it? Do it again. It's dumb. Oh, we'll use a fairy stone. Okay, but the fairy stones are kind of limited in the game. We'll just go buy some. Well, I don't want to spend money. So, yeah.
The first time would be acceptable, but after it would just be boring.
Yeah.
For this reason, Dragon's Dogma 2 does have a fast travel option, but the way they handle this essential mechanic is a bit controversial and didn't convince the majority of players, including myself. As you
True.
can see from the map, there are many towns and villages, but you can fast travel only between 4 of them, by using an ox cart. Let's
Yes.
say you are here and you want to go all the way down to the city, well, you need to take 4 ox carts to arrive there. And every
Jesus.
time you board an ox cart,
What a contrived travel system. You got to take 4 ox carts to get around, and you can only use ox carts during like the morning or whatever. Holy shit. I think if I were to try to make something like that, I would have to think about it to make it bad.
there is a big chance that monsters will attack you during the trip,
Yeah.
slowing the whole process. Not only that, it's also possible that the enemies will break the ox cart during the ambush.
Yep. Even your own pawns can destroy the ox carts. This is true. This happened to me, and it's so fucking annoying.
Which means you will have to continue your journey by foot. And that's not fun, especially after you already did that several times.
Yes,
So-
that's the key point. You've already done it multiple times. I don't want to have to walk along the main road again. And you know what? This wouldn't even be so much of an issue if they had like mounts in the game. I don't care if Dragon's Dogma 1 didn't have mounts. This game established, or the developer established, that they can do mounts. Okay? They did Monster Hunter World, they did Rise. You had a mount in those games. Okay? Let me get a mount. You know, let me jump on this like little wolf, or let me get a horse or something. When I jump on the horse, my pawns get on the horses. When I jump on my horse, my pawns jump on their horses. It's simple. You didn't have to like contrive this whole fairy stone system with ox carts or whatever. Just give me like, I would even not like a fast travel system to where I can instantly transport if you just gave me a good enough mount. 100%, dude. And them not including like a mount in the game artificially inflates the playtime of the game, and it feels stupid when half the time it feels like walking simulator.
So basically the fast travel option is an ox cart, which can be taken only in 4 towns and can bring you only to other 3 specific locations. There's a big chance that you will get attacked while traveling, and the ox cart could even break.
Yeah.
But don't be desperate, there is a second fast travel option. There's an item called Fairy Stone,
Oh boy, the fairy stones. Oh boy.
a magic stone that can teleport you to any place. It would work perfectly if it was that simple, but unfortunately it's not.
It's not.
Not only Fairy Stone,
Bro, you want to know the crazy thing? You can't fast travel in caves. If you're trying to fairy stone out of a cave and you're like at a small like little portion of a cave. My buddy told me, well, it's okay because it makes sense. I'm like, what? How does that make sense? Well, the entire animation can't go through if you're stuck in like a little tiny tunnel or whatever. I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. Oh my god. It makes no sense.
Stones aren't easy to obtain, but you can only teleport where a port crystal is located. And
Yeah.
guess what? There are only 2 port crystals in the whole map. Of course, if they kept it like that,
Yeah.
it would have been a disaster. So they added an item which can be carried and placed anywhere. A portable.
What a joke of a system. Bro, let me just fast travel to the city. Or let me fast travel to a place that I have already explored to. You know how there's like those little symbols of like a cave or a dungeon or whatever on the map? All you got to do is let me mouse over, right click, and do you want to fast travel? Yes or no? To that point? Yeah, great. Why can you fast travel there? Because you've already been there on foot. That's why.
Port crystal. But again, guess what? This item is even harder to get than the fairy stone.
Yeah.
So let me summarize it. You first have to obtain this portable port crystal. Then you have to go to the location you want to fast travel to, place this crystal, and only then you can teleport there using the fairy stone.
This system is so contrived, it's not even funny. They had to do so much mental gymnastics to shoehorn this thing in the game. And I don't even know if it was like this in Dragon's Dogma 1, whatever, but even if it was, it's still bad.
I'm not sure I expressed that clearly, but just in case, no, I'm not a fan of this way of fast traveling. And finally, let's talk about the endgame of Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be spoiled, please don't watch any further, as I'm
That's
about
okay.
to show you what happens after you finish all the main quests of the story.
Yeah, we beat the game.
After fighting the big dragon, you find yourself in this gloomy setting. The world, in fact, is slowly coming to an end. It is called the Unmoored World, and there is no coming back from this. New special enemies will reveal themselves, a new powerful version of a dragon, and a gigantic snake. Needless to say, these bosses are considerably stronger than any previous foes you faced,
Nice.
and I was really excited to fight them. However, there's a little issue. These special bosses don't respawn. You can kill them only twice, and that's it. They don't drop unique materials, so farming is not an issue, but it feels like a wasted opportunity to me.
Yeah.
The fight is the most entertaining, the most engaging and challenging, and you let me fight him only twice.
Yeah, why would you even do that? Like, you're only there for doing the bosses. Like, all you got to do is just make it so that, like, oh, this boss drops like a super good helmet, and all the vocations can use it. Like this helmet has like a unique effect on it. That's all you have to do. The player has already beaten the entirety of the game. Just give them like a good item. Like most gamers like want to be rewarded for their efforts. Like seldom, there's probably like a small niche of people that like to do like just hard shit for the sake of just doing hard shit. But I would say that you should not be designing a game for that niche, that small chunk of the pie slice of the entire community. If you want to have like some big grandiose boss, have it like drop something or whatever. Or you know, if you can't even make it spawn again, have it drop something. Or if there's like a small chance for it to drop or not drop, let the player just farm the boss. Like make it so that you can like summon him again or some shit.
I can't help but feel a bit sad. Anyway, while in this unmoored world, fairy stones are dropped like candy, so fast traveling is not a problem here, as long as you already placed the portable port crystal. Bosses are a bit more frequent to encounter, but unfortunately they can't respawn. You can find new special armors in the chest boxes, and I appreciate that.
Nice.
But most of the time, the armor you find is not stronger than what you can get from the shop, which doesn't make much sense to me. Apart from that, you don't get any new weapons and any new skills. In the Unmoored World, day and night don't shift anymore. Both day and night enemies will spawn at the same time from now on. The only way to make time pass is by resting at inns or at home, and you can only do that 12 times. After that, if you haven't still beaten the special bosses, you will have to restart from day 1 on the Unmoored World.
Well, yeah, that's stupid.
And try again. In case you succeed, the story will end, and the world will rewind as it was originally, letting you repeat the story, keeping all the progress you made, including all the items and equipment, basically what is called New Game Plus. Dragon's Dogma 2's endgame is considerably different from any Monster Hunter game. You don't farm monsters, but you rather try to obtain unique armor pieces from chest boxes, and try to get as many Worm's Life Crystals as you can get. They can be obtained from draconic creatures like drakes and dragons, but here in the Unmoored world, you can get a ton of them by slaying those 2 special bosses I previously mentioned.
It's a lot of
This
crystals.
crystallized blood is used to further enhance your equipment after regular upgrade, a sort of augmentation. It is extremely useful as it's the only method to decrease the weight of your gear, and weight in this game affects your movement speed, so the lighter you are, the faster and more agile you will be. This is another distinctive aspect that I appreciated a lot. Lastly, I have to confess I'm a bit disappointed in regard to the weapons variety for each vocation. In this game there are only 4 elements: ice, thunder, fire and holy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have just been like a pain in the butt to try to shoehorn in like all the elements and the statuses of Monster Hunter in the game, because like in Monster Hunter, what you got, like like fire, ice, water, lightning, dragon, and then statuses you have like poison, sleep, paralyze, or paralysis, and I think that's it. I mean, I love variety in terms of like weapons, but yeah, I mean, them only having like 4 elements in the game and each element being like made in a meaningful way, it kind of feels like they like shortchanged themselves, only doing like so few like elements and shit. Maybe like in Dragon's Dogma 3 they'll have like more of a variety in terms of like elements and statuses, because I don't know, I think Monster Hunter and Dragon's Dogma do elements well.
The issue is that you only have 1 weapon type for each element, and half of them are considerably weaker than the others, as you unlock or find them already early in the game. Even after fully enhancing all the weapons, the difference remains, so at the end you will find yourself only using 1 or 2 weapons, and all the rest of the weapons become pretty much useless. I only use Holy and Ice element with dual blades, while with Magic Bow I just use this one as it is the strongest one among all of them. I would have liked more variety in this regard, and the same applies to the armor, as you will end up using the same one. As I said, armors don't give you skills like in Monster Hunter, but only defensive buffs, like elemental and knockback resistance, which means you will always pick up the one with the highest values, and stick to that. There is really no need to switch armor, and maybe that is why there are no loadouts to be saved. Overall, I must admit that I had quite the fun playing this game, especially the first 100 hours. Getting to know all the new mechanics, getting used to the controls and new actions, exploring a completely new world, and fighting singular beasts was entertaining. Although the game definitely has some drawbacks, as I already mentioned, it is true the great majority of them are not severe and won't stop you from enjoying the game. Some are just bad design choices in my opinion, like the fast travel mechanic and the single save slot. Others could have been improved with a little more effort.
Like again, I really enjoyed the combat system, the core game loop of like little weapon skills and like light attack, or heavy attack and whatnot. The fact that you can climb on monsters, I think is really cool.
Monsters and Pwn's AI and the weapons variety, especially in the endgame. At the end of the day though, I spent more than 200 hours playing the game, which means in my opinion it's a game worth being considered despite not being perfect. This was my personal and honest review about Dragon's Dogma 2, the new action RPG developed and published by Capcom on March the 22nd. Please feel free to let me know what you think about the game in the comment section. I wish you a great day, take care and see you in the next video.
Nice. Yeah, I think this is a good video. I think there's a lot of people that played Monster Hunter World with the whole return to world thing, and in so doing, like obtaining that like new audience or whatever, it was like a good transition, from playing World into Dragon's Dogma 2, because it's like a lot of things were so similar. It's like you have a little bit of familiarity in terms of like the systems and the combat and what's expected. I think they did a fine job. There's a couple things I think they messed up on, but I mean, it's whatever. But like overall, really cool video. I enjoyed it. I like it, and yeah, I'm a fan, and I want to see more. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.